TripSplitter is an easy way to manage expenses while traveling with friends. When you first perform TripSplitter, this screen will come up to help you define your first trip. You have to define the name of the trip, and you have to define the participants of the trip, those who are going to share the expenses of the trip. After defining the new trip, you'll be able to create the first expense item. Select the type. This will be food expense. You can change the amount, the name of the item, and you have to specify who participated and who paid for the expense. Optionally, you can specify how the expense was paid for, cash, credit card. We're going to say this is a $25.41 expense. We'll leave food as it is, and we will touch the buttons for who participated. Clifton, Tom, and Andy participated, and Andy paid, so we'll touch twice. A second time there on Andy turns him into a square. The round circles indicate participants, people who took advantage of the expense, and the square is someone who took advantage and also paid. Click Done. That item ends up in the view. Once we've defined a trip and defined some items, this is the main screen in the TripSplitter. It shows all the expenses organized by date, current date at the top, past days below, in a scrollable list. Each expense item has a row, the name of the item, the type, the amount, and then a color-coded way to tell who participated in the expense and who paid. In this case, everyone participated in the expense, and the red person, Dave, paid. At the bottom of this screen are the persons involved in the trip, and they can be touched to create a default set of participations if a lot of expenses that you do have the same set. So as it's set up now, Clifton, Charlie, and Tom would be set up as participating on any new expense that was created, with Charlie being the payer. Once you create the expense, though, you can modify that. This is just default. To edit an item, touch the item. That brings up the screen with all the information. You can change the amount by entering a new number. You can change the name. Let's say this is McDonald's, and you can change participation by adding, deleting people. Now we have two payers. Andy and Charlie split payment of this. Click Done. You can change the date if you need to with the picker, and then click Done. To delete an item, start editing it and click Delete. Make sure. Most items are even splits. That is, the amount is evenly split between the people involved with the expense. Our program will support uneven splits to allow you to charge some people more or less for their participation. First thing you do there is turn even split off. Now two rows of numbers come up over each person, two number entry fields over each person. The top row is the payment information for each person, and the bottom row is the participation information for each person. So, and the initial value for the items are from the even split. So each person participated $84.80 and 81 cents for the $254. And one person paid the whole amount. We can split both of those. Here we'll say Andy is involved in payment, and we'll say Clifton is also involved. Andy is involved in the using of the expense, and Clifton is added as a payer. So now an even split. It's all set up with an even split, and then you manually change it. So we're going to change it where Clifton pays $150 and automatically adjust Tom's payment to match the total. and maybe Andy slept on the couch, so we're only going to charge him $30, and the other 3 participants get an even split of the remainder. And then you click done. The menuing system is begun by clicking on this gray button. Pops up, and you can see the menu items. You can do a switch trip, in which case it will show you the other trips that you have on your machine, and you can switch back and forth between trips at any time and add and delete items in that trip. You can create a new trip. You can add an item from here, as well as clicking on the date field. You can email the trip. All the current information is sent in an email. You can delete a trip, and you can do an even up. Even up is where it tells you who pays who to even up on the expenses. Click the red button to dismiss the menu system. To do an even up, click on the menu system, click on even up, and 1 to 5 messages will come up telling you who pays who to even up. Very simple. At any point along the way, you can turn your device sideways, and the totals view comes up, giving you a lot of detail, and also the even up messages. In this case, the totals are presented by type of expense and by person, and the top row of numbers is how much that person paid in those categories, and the bottom row is how much that person participated in those categories, and then the messages that say who pays who to even up. On the main screen, we have an information button that gets you to settings and help. The option settings allows you to show or not show the payment type information on the detail record for an expense. The display settings allow you to change the font for any of these types of display items. And the email settings lets you set up default to carbon copy, blind carbon copy subject fields in the email that gets sent when you select send email. Local help in the application is a series of screenshots showing you how to do the main items, new trip, main view, new item, the participation information and shapes, how to delete an item, how to do an uneven split, and the menuing system.